turn the radio off right now and listen to The Chris Miles Show.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Chris Miles Show.
Good evening.
Or whatever it is.
What's going on, people? Hope all is well. Welcome to the Chris Miles Show. This is Chris Miles sitting in with that of Mr. Producer. We have a lot to unfold this evening. The title of the podcast is Shipment Sinking Fast. Correct?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. All right. So, hope all is well with everybody. Hope everybody's.
Your mic muted.
My mic. All right. Okay, people. What about now? We good? Okay. Hope all is well with everybody. Hope everybody had a good weekend. We are here. We're going to be talking about the situation with that of Damian Pickett, Montgomery, Alabama. The Montgomery Riverboat Brawl. Everybody saw it happen back August the 5th. And what has happened is the provocateurs, the people that actually instigated the fight, started the melee, are trying to get charges brought on that of Damian Pickett and some of the other people that was a part of the situation there that happened in our native city of Montgomery, Alabama. So we're going to be talking about that. One of the other things we're going to be speaking on is that of the conflict that's going on in Israel and Gaza. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that, but there are some things that we do want to bring out, and we are going to bring out. So that's what we are. And, you know, we are going to try to educate you as well as entertain you. Mr. Producer.
What's going on, man? I'm doing all right, man. Can't complain.
Awesome. What's your take on all this stuff that is? Because you brought it to me.
Yeah, man, I saw it on just scrolling on social media. I saw it and, you know, just wondering like how when everyone watched the video pretty much from beginning to the end, they seen that the co-captain got off the ship trying to get the people to move their boats out the way so the passengers can dock. So for them to try to bring him back to court to say, you know, give him an assault charge is kind of ridiculous. I just, you know, I couldn't understand it.
Well, I reached out to CNN, Montgomery Advertiser, WSFA. I sent them emails, and they have these numbers that you call, but you can't ever talk to anybody. So, all of that being said, I did send them the link of the show, hopefully to get some form of response back from them about what's actually going on, what has actually happened. So we'll see how that plays. We did reach out to Damian Pickett several times. He did not respond, but we do have a special guest we're going to bring up on your monitors that we are. She's from SIP. She's an activist. She's been doing a lot of work down there, and she basically has some pertinent information that she's going to bring out that I think is feasible, good information for everybody.
Some pertinent information.
Most definitely. So, what else is going on, Mr. Producer, besides, and we got the conflict in Gaza, conflict in Israel, Gaza, still going on. We're going to touch on that a little bit. That whole thing there is just completely overwhelming at this point, don't you think?
Yeah, man. The part that I hate and what a lot of people is touching on is how much money the U.S. is sending, how much of our money, the taxpayers' money, that they sending over there to help these terrorists.
Now, who you calling terrorists, Mr. Producer?
Yeah, the Israelis and the Ukraine.
Okay. So, on that topic there, people, Mr. Producer has a very valid point about what he's saying. Let me just say this to educate people. We always hear about taxpayers' money, correct, Mr. Producer?
Yeah.
That's what we hear, right? Well, the United States doesn't have any money, tangible money that they operate with. The system that we use is what's called a fiat currency, people. So the fiat currency is a current currency that deals with paper money or money that doesn't have any value to it. So the United States, what people don't understand is the United States don't have any money. That's the whole, how can I say this? Scheme of things that's behind the scheme of things. So when you hear the term taxpayers' money, there's really no such thing. And I know y'all are like, what is he talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is, have you ever noticed that when you get ready to do anything, if it's you go to the bank, you go to whatever it is, financial institution, even courthouses or whatever, and when you go, they always ask you for your social security number. The social security, we have an unlimited amount of credit, people, okay? So what Mr. Producer is referring to when he says taxpayers' money, he's actually referring to that of our what's called Sesta K Trust or Social Security Trust. If you go to the doctor, next time you go to the doctor, when you go into the doctor, they're going to ask you for either your social security number or they're going to ask you for the last four of your social security number. The reason that they're doing that is because what they do is everything that the United States does is based off of bonds and liens. So all of the things that's going on out there that we do is actually prepaid. You just don't know that it's prepaid. And what's really sad about all that is that the whole essence of what the situation dealing with taxpayers' money is the fact that these people are using our Social Security Trust to send over to Ukraine and that of Israel. And then what they do is they send our Social Security money over there, or Social Security Trust credits over there. They create the currency, and they put the tax off on us. So that's what Mr. Producer's talking about when he's talking about taxpayer money. You hear taxpayer money. There's no fucking such thing as taxpayer money. Okay? This is not the day that we're going to talk about that. There'll be another day, but I'm going to educate you all on truly what's going on. And when you also hear that Israel have a right to exist, the reason that they say all that dumb shit is for the fact that you have most of the people that's running government in the United States are Jewish. Janet Yellen, Anthony Blinken, all of these people are Jewish. So that's why you always hear the term, Israel have a right to defend themselves. They have a right to exist. And they are the aggressors. And this is what I want people to understand, is that in most situations, me and Mr. Producer have used the term of the dog theory. If I have a dog and I mistreat that dog and I tie him to the tree and I kick him in his ass, I take his water, I take his food from him, what is the dog going to do, Mr. Producer?
Gonna bite you.
He's going to bite me. It is a natural defense to act out. Okay? It's the crab in a bucket syndrome. Okay, so these people study animal behavior and they come back and they inflict it on the people. So what I'm simply saying is this. All of this stuff that you hear about Hamas is born out of what they've created. That's the whole point. And something is really wrong when you have a group of people that will go out, that will annihilate children, women and children, at a rate of 5,000 kids have been murdered. And this is the crazy part. This is what I want to say, and we're gonna shift to the topic of what we're actually talking about. We'll come back to this. What I have a problem with is this. If, the theory I used with you earlier, Mr. Producer, and I want everybody out there that's watching the Chris Miles show to think about this. Now, Israel, the state of Israel, dropped bombs on that of Palestinian, the mosque. They dropped them on hospital. What else they dropped them on, Mr. Producer?
The refugee camps.
Refugee camp, right. So, let me give everybody a hypothetical. And this is the hypothetical. The hypothetical is this. If me and Mr. Producer is into it, right? And I take a gun and I shoot into Mr. Producer's house. He's in there with his wife. He's in there with his kids. If I shoot in the house and all along I'm gunning for Mr. Producer, not his kids, not his wife, but I shoot into the house and I hit one of his children, what's going to happen to me, Mr. Producer?
Yeah, that's capital murder. That's death penalty.
Death penalty. So we have the state of Israel, who's actually using the United States technology, their bombs, their missiles, and they're using this aggression against women and children. And we're being told that this is all about Hamas. Well, Hamas is not in Gaza. You have stuff that's going on in what's called the Golan Heights. You have stuff that's going on over there in the West Bank, where the Israelis the occupiers are still going in, still in taking land and settling in that land. This is what I'm talking about with the money. The United States gives Israel $6 billion annually. This is why Mr. Producer called them a terrorist state. The state of Israel is actually a welfare state. Now, people will get mad, say, well, black folks get welfare. No, black folks don't get shit. Israel gets $6 billion annually. They a goddamn welfare state. So you got $6 billion of our Social Security trust money that you're sending to them, but we got to pay for it? That's a goddamn welfare state within itself. And the shit is so tragic over there that they are sending, Joe Biden is sending $14 billion over there, and it was approved by both houses of Congress. Send this money over there, and the people over there are buying high-powered weaponry. High-powered weaponry, and they're using this weaponry against the people who've native to that, indigenous to that land. That's why he called Israel a terrorist state. So, Mr. Producer, let's do this.
Yeah.
let's bring up the information that you have the information we need, right?
About what?
As far as on the topic.
I mean, I got the cover picture that you sent me.
Okay, and we also too we need to bring in. I need that link so I can send it to.
I sent it to you.
Okay, all right. You do know that Trump went to the fight last night, right?
Talking about the UFC fight?
Yeah. He was there with Kid Rock, Dana White, what's the other guy name? The one Fox hit, Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah, get out there with his people, man.
Yeah.
You talking about the little pictures of the little Disney movie in the boat?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, bring that up.
Yeah.
Mr. Producer, why is that the camera one has a gritty or grimy look to it? There ain't a way to.
Man, you doing too much.
How am I doing too much action?
Cause I'm saying that's just how the camera is.
Okay.
I'm saying it's a more high tech camera.
Okay, all right. I'm just asking a question. All right. So,
You got the link? It's in your two.
see what?
It's in two.
You sent it to two?
Chris Miles two.
Oh, you sent it to that one. The one I couldn't find. I don't ever go over there on that. All right, so okay. I don't know how that's gonna work because I don't think we're actually connected on.
Well, I'm saying copy the link and send it to yourself. Well, hold on.
That's all right. No sweat. I got it. Here it is right here. It's there. That's cute, man. So, people, as you can see, everybody has kind of gotten in on the mockery of what happened. It's crazy how, Mr. Producer, how something can be put out via social media and it just You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we are actually waiting for y'all bear with us for a second. Did you get the link? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I got you. Okay, all right. So we're up and running right now. So I was just checking with you to see if Okay, all right. So yeah. So what we'll do is we will go to another subject matter and give you the time to get situated and set, and we'll go from there. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, thank you. Okay, people. Well, what's going on is the young lady that's the activist from Selma is she's actually hadn't gotten to her destination. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift to another topic until she gets situated, and then what we'll do, Mr. Producers, come back to it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Man, what you think about that girl from Dothan?
The one that, what are you talking about?
The girl from Dothan with the baby that ain't want to be no parent.
The 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Well, I mean it's a really bad situation, to say the least. The fact that she got pregnant, and she knew what the situation was, having sex, unprotected sex, that, it could, a child could be born in the process. And I just think she just had bad people around her, bad advice.
Who gave her advice though? Who, you think somebody told her to do that?
No, I'm not saying somebody told her to do it. What I'm saying that when she had bad advice, meaning that the people that she had in her circle did not put her up on, the information she needed to be a mother. And in a sense, I really feel sorry for the young lady, because, and I definitely feel sorry for the child, because the child was innocent. The child didn't actually come here. Do you have something on that? I sent you some over on it.
I mean, I can pull up some stuff.
Yeah, please do. So what Mr. Producer's talking about is he's talking about a story where a young 18-year-old female out of Selma, no, I'm sorry, out of Dothan, excuse me. I apologize about misinformation. What she did was she got pregnant. A little bit alone. She got pregnant, and she ended up putting her child in a dumpster. And from my understanding, the child got crushed, was produced.
Yeah. Yep.
And she's okay. Grand jury awaits baby death case as prosecutors call death penalty report incorrect. Houston County District Attorney Russ Goodman said reports that he plans to seek the death penalty The young lady name is Jakayla Ashanti Williams. She's 18 years old, and she got pregnant, and she told her family members that she had passed the child off to a hospital worker, and apparently she did not do so. And in the process, the child, she carried the child, put the child in a dumpster in some kind of bag, in a duffel bag, and put the child in the dumpster. What you call those things? A compressor?
Trash compactor.
Yeah, right. This is a young lady here. She's 18 years old. Her name is Jakayla Ashanti Williams. She's from Houston County, which is Dothan, and she's 18 years old, and the prosecutor is seeking the death penalty in this case.
I mean, shit, what she should, to be honest. I mean, if you ask me, I mean, like she said, she was saying she was too young to be a mother. You know, she wanted to keep turning up, keep doing this, keep doing that, but she could have easily dropped the baby off at the hospital. You know,
she had the child at home.
I'm saying she could have easily dropped the child off, and you know, she had the child. It's up to her. So she could have dropped the child off, and they would have took care of it or whatever. But now I'm saying you put the baby in the trash compactor. You call yourself, you know, like what, you know, like when nobody gonna find out. Now you finna spend the rest of your life.
No, well, actually,
I'm just saying you gonna be behind bars until they decide, you know what I'm saying, if they gonna put you to death or not. So, I mean, your life is over.
So this is what I'm talking about, people, right? This is why I was telling Mr. Producer that I think the young lady had bad advice because, you know, in essence of that, she went out, she got pregnant, and she got pregnant, she had the child at home. I wondered did anybody assist her in having the child, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think they got into all that. But still, somebody knew. Somebody knew.
So would that person, if she was assisted, would that person also be brought up on charge?
I mean, I doubt it, but I don't. If she telling her parents or whoever that, she went to the hospital and put the baby up for adoption, you know.
No, she didn't say that. She said that she went to the hospital, she passed the child off to a hospital worker. So what they did, they looked at video, they looked at footage.
Yeah.
There was no verification of that.
Right.
So her story, after the fact that the detectives punched holes in her story, she finally admitted that she carried the child to to a dumpster. Now, what happened, from my understanding, is that her relatives were the one, you know, turning the heat up. Like, wait a minute, where's the child at?
So I mean, they in the clear.
Well, yeah, they are. But I'm saying, typically when a woman is having a child, you know, she needs some form of assistance, breathing and.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure somebody was there to assist her, but.
So they couldn't prevent her from.
I mean,
because after she had the baby was discarded.
I mean, it can't be on them. It's person with the baby, man. With the baby, man. It's a sad story.
It's very sad.
You know, it just goes to show you how, you know, one day you here, one day you live in life however you see fit, and next day it can be taken away from you just like that.
That's a given. But this is a form of premeditation. The reason why I say it's premeditation, Mr. Producer, is because the young lady had to think this out. And that's what I'm saying. Who did she have around her? That because she could have put the child up for adoption. She could have, you know, hey, look, I don't want this child. you laid down. You know what I'm saying? You had intercourse with somebody. What about the child's father, man? Well, I mean, did she even consider the fact that, hey, look here, let me, you know what I'm saying?
Man, you know, looking at her picture, looking at her, you know what I'm saying, to pass judgment. She just don't look like. I don't even think she told him, or she probably don't even know who the dad is. Yeah, I said it. She probably don't even know who the dad was.
Well, whomever.
So I mean, he probably just find. I mean, he probably don't know because he probably ain't know he got her pregnant.
Well, I'm saying, Mr. Producer, it's really a sad situation, and it's one of the topics that we're going to be talking about coming up here. Single black mothers. Will you end up being one? This is something that we need to address in our community because we see a lot of it, and we see a lot of our kids disoriented.
Yeah, most definitely.
So I just think for the situation by this young girl, y'all can go out here and look the story up. Once again, her name is Jakayla Ashanti Williams, and she's 18 years old. And she got pregnant and she discarded her child. And I feel like my heart breaks for the baby because the baby was innocent. The baby didn't, man.
Baby ain't standing a chance, man.
Baby didn't know, man. Maybe that's a good thing, but
yeah.
I really feel sorry for her, Mr. Producer.
I don't.
And well, what I'm saying is, man, is that's what I'm talking about, man.
They need to give her the same thing she gave that baby. Put her in the trash compactor.
What I'm saying is this, Mr. Producer. I'm saying that when I say she had bad advice around her, man, like the girl was pregnant. Obviously, her family members knew because what did they do? They contacted.
But I'm saying, how can you say? I mean, maybe a home girl or something. But if the family contacted authorities, they doing their part because they were worried.
What happened is they contacted the hospital, and the hospital contact. I don't really know. I mean,
but I'm saying just hypothetically. I'm saying the fact that they called checking to see if the baby was delivered. Maybe the mama was like, I'll take care of the baby. That's my grandbaby. You ain't got to do this. And she probably got up in the middle of the night or whatever she did, and she wouldn't have did what she did, man. So, I mean, I think they ought to give her the same thing she gave that baby.
Well, that's a little harsh, but
shit, what you mean?
I mean,
that's how I'm saying. She went to the hospital. And instead of her going to the front door, she went to the back and put the baby in the trash compactor.
Mr. Produce, I'm not condoning her action, bro.
Shit, ain't no harsh.
No,
they need to put her in the trash compactor. Shit, straight up. They need to put her in the trash compactor, man. If somebody's seeking the death penalty, why make it peaceful? I mean, that's crazy, man. I'm saying all she had to do was go to the front door and drop the baby off.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
She ain't even. I'm saying it took more effort to put a baby in the trash compactor than to just drive around to the emergency room and put. She could have just sat the baby there in a box or something. Somebody would have picked him up. That's terrible.
Yeah,
that's terrible, man. And then when they get to court, when she gonna go in that crime, mental health, and all that fuck shit. Fuck that. I'm saying, man, it take a diabolical person.
No, I agree with you.
I'm just saying, you holding this baby that you done made, you done birthed.
9 months.
You done birthed it and you place it in the trash compactor, knowing sooner or later this thing gonna operate. And, no, I feel sorry for her at all. I mean, no pity.
What I'm saying, this is what I'm saying, Mr. Producer. Listen to me. I see a lot of our kids, right? And I say kids because the young lady the young girl, she's a young girl. She's a child. She's a child. That's the point, people. That's the point, Mr. Producer. She's an 18-year-old.
Yeah, she's a child. Thinking she know everything.
Mr. Producer, let me finish, please.
Yeah.
Although she's having a cycle at the age of 18, she's a child. Okay? And what I'm talking about, there's bad advice the young lady was getting is based upon the people she had around her. And then you can see, you know, she caught up, she got the sexy red type hair stuff going on. There's so many misnomers of information, I'm sure, that she was getting as a young lady. Now, the reality becomes the stuff that she didn't get the proper raising as a child into adult, because one, you gotta realize, once a girl has a child, all things change then. Ain't about your life no more. You're an adult.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely.
That's what I'm saying. She was out there doing adult things. Those are consequences. Somebody should have told her, listen, you out here, you know what I'm saying, you having intercourse, you screwing, you having sex. The consequences of all of that is you could get pregnant. I mean, you know, I'm not saying to use contraception or whatever, but I'm saying there was a lot of things that was going on, I'm sure, around her that was irresponsible, Mr. Producer.
Yeah.
That's my point.
And I'm saying at that moment, that point of her life, I mean, she made a decision, man. She made a split decision that changed the direction of her life for the rest. It's over. She done. I mean, can't say how good the parents, her role models, or whoever was raising her is, but I mean, she made a decision that changed the course of her life, and I mean, she done. She done. Yeah. Whether she thought she was too young to have a baby and be a mother and all that, that's good and well, but you know that's just being lazy, man. That's just being plain lazy.
Let me just say we do have some comments. Okay, so my good brother Lindsay said mental illness is real. So that we could be dealing with a situation where it's mental illness. Okay. He also went on to say they will only be held accountable if they help her dispose of the baby, and that's my point. And my cousin Buki say, "Cuz, what's up, cuz?" My other cousin Karen, who's an admin on the page, she says Northern California is in the house. All right, cuz. Thank you. Mr. Producer, she say, what's up?
What's going on?
Okay. So, I'm just saying, people, that we should take responsibilities of the things that we do, get more intuitive with our children on a level of just, and that's the thing. You know,
we most definitely gotta do that.
Sex is natural. Okay? But I mean, you know, you look at how many people in the world? We got what? 12 million people. How many people? Hell, you got 4 billion in China.
I don't know about. It's about 7, I think.
Okay. However many people live, right? So the fact of the matter is that sex is natural. So we have to be honest with our children when it comes to
I was
these
right.
topics.
It's 7.8 billion.
7 billion. Shit, half of that, most of that in China, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of people over there.
I ain't talking about, we know it's a lot of people over there, man. Give me how many people? How many people in China?
It's 7. I don't know how many. Goddamn, man, we ain't in China, we in America.
Man, ask you all that, man. But the point is, people, we have to be honest with our children, man. Like I'm saying, when these kids out here, they doing
1.4.
1.4?
Yeah, billion people in China.
I thought it was more than that.
No,
they must have slowed up.
I mean, they made them slow up. They made them slow up. It's against the law to have 2 children.
Oh, for real? Yeah, I heard that. So, Mr. Producer, Um, I need you to do me a favor,
What?
man. I need you to bring up Jimbo, man.
Jimbo Fisher.
Yes.
You go find
So,
him.
people, me and Mr. Producer was in a interesting conversation earlier.
Let me see. She ain't logged in yet.
Conversation earlier about that Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher worked with he worked with what's the guy Nick Saban.
Oh, there she go. The goat, Nick Saban.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and bring her up, and
Yeah,
then
let's do
we'll
that.
hold on.
We'll deal with Jimbo after the fact. Let's bring her up.
Hold on, where you at? Boom, boom.
You gonna eat your Krispy Kreme tonight?
Man, I ate two on, man. How you doing? You can hear us?
I'm all right.
Man, that
Sorry
shit
for
go.
being late. I was on the road. I got delayed.
No, it ain't no problem at all. I sure enough get with it, man.
Okay. Kamisha, how are you?
Hi, Chris.
You doing okay?
I'm doing great.
I'm so excited to have you a part of this format. I'm, I don't know what's going on with my signal. She's not yet appeared on
Man, she on there, man.
my monitor. Okay, so Kamisha, we did a post. Oh, there she is. How you doing, lovely?
I'm doing great.
Okay, so I put a post out Friday, and so we put the post out Friday, and you responded.
So I can get her to tell a little bit about herself. Man.
Okay, yeah. So hold on, we'll do that. So you responded to it, and you and I kind of went from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the public, let everybody know what you do, and let everybody know the information that you're bringing out, how you came about it. All right? So go ahead.
All right. Well, hi. Okay. Well, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. My name is Kamisha Alvarado. Many people know me as Sunshine. I currently live in Selma, and I'm basically a community activist and a political analyst. I do a lot of political activity in the community. And I'm just a grassroots person, so I stay on the ground and I keep my back to the wall. And most of these things that I'm going to talk about tonight is just maybe common knowledge from some people in Selma. So it's nothing that I ran across, but we're talking about the Chase Shipman, the Mr. Todd, and those boat riders on the platoon that were arrested on August 5th of 2023 in Montgomery,
Oh,
which we all
yeah.
now call and dub the Montgomery Brawl. And Friday, that post that you
Tell them to tune in.
alluded to
Tell them to tune
was
in.
concerning the co-captain. And you know, we all across this nation have come to really love that crew. And when I saw it, you know, I saw the article earlier, but because it's been so much news about the co-captain and the young man who swam across Aqua Blocker Boy, I call him, and all those things. I didn't really read the whole headline, but when you typed it out in whichever format you did, I kind of read it. It was like a couple of sentences. It wasn't this grand headline that made me just say, "Oh." So I read it, and I was like, "Wow, is he really being charged?" But then it didn't surprise me because of the dialogue and things that went on once Chase Shipman and Mr. Todd's all and those guys' attorneys got involved. when he kept mentioning things about racism and no racial slurs, which we already knew at the point when the Montgomery chief of police said that the federal government had decided, I mean, the FBI had decided it wasn't a hate crime. So at that point, it shouldn't have been an issue about racial slurs because that was already addressed when it became a city of Montgomery issue and not a federally hate crime. And a lot of people disagree with it being a riot because it put the people of the Marriott and the employees who were in self-defense in trouble, were in jeopardy, because now
Most
that
definitely.
it's open that it's not a riot, it wasn't, they didn't incite a riot, which most people think they did, and it wasn't racially charged, which people like me believe it was based on who they are. um it left the people of the Marriott kind of hanging like low fruit. So then when I saw your post, I got concerned because yet have any lawyers spoke up or openly defended any of the people from the Marriott. So I was kind of concerned, and that's what made me trigger and post a lot of things under your post. So I'm glad you brought it to our attention.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the other thing I wanted to say. Mr. Producer, who's sitting to my right, brought it to my attention, and so I called him and we talked, and after that, I started receiving text messages, emails, and what have you on it. The one of the rappers here, Lil Scrappy, he had posted something, and then what was the other dude?
I know Al something said something about it.
Yeah, so a bunch of people started coming out about it, right? So what happened? You and I, Commissioner, did some digging, and we found out that it was Shipman's attorney them who contacted the media and put it out there to sway opinion, public opinion.
That's right.
So they put misinformation out there, and so when that happened, and I got on the phone and I started calling people within the city of Montgomery, and I talked to some people whose names I will not release, who I've built rapport with, and they gave me the scoop. So by me calling the city of Montgomery, what happened is I want to say that it forced them to come out and say, wait a minute, we're not charging this guy. We're not bringing the charges against him. What has happened is this guy, Zachary Shipman, has set his court case off. He set his court case, or he didn't do it, but his attorneys did it to try to get his licks in on getting Damien and some of the other individuals that was there charged. This is the problem, Kamisha, I had with what the city did. The city should have charged these men with a hate crime. Reason being I say that is this. I was told, I wasn't there, but I was told by somebody that is connected to Damien that there were racial epithets hurled at them. That was said.
I'm saying when they went on that talk show, when Bobcat took them up there to New York, it wasn't Damien, it was the other guy, the other bald-headed guy. He told Gail that they was calling them out their name while they was on the boat before all this occurred. So them folks were calling them the N-word and saying this and saying that, and the whole
Which flared it up.
right.
Okay. So and that's what Kamisha's gonna bring out this evening. She's gonna bring out people the whole aura that's dealing with these individuals. So what they're doing is, since the city did not charge them with a hate crime, they go get an attorney, and the attorney is trying to get Damien and the other boat members that were there, was at work, trying to get them charged with a hate crime. But go ahead, Kamisha.
Well, what after we did the research and I realized it didn't say Montgomery charged them. It didn't say. They just said he hasn't been arrested. He's just going to show up to court. It was just a lot of lewdness in the CNN article, and CNN needs to be held accountable for that. But that's what made us research it, because I was like, well, usually they would have reached out to an attorney, and if he was really charged, my lights went out. If he was really charged, would he have been? He would have been arrested, and he would have had an attorney at a point, right? So when you tell me that you're not going to charge this guy in the CNN article, this is not a local newspaper, which was odd as well, because you brought that to attention, that WAKA or WSFA, no one reported it. It went straight to CNN. Okay, that's what they do. And what made me come to the defense or want to be part of this discussion, because they have long bread. They got long money. They got generational wealth. See, I know Damien and some of those members on the Marriott, we don't come from generational wealth by design. So it's easy for them to start building up all these legal cases because they got enough money to do it. But it'll ruin someone like you and I, just going to court, trying to find attorneys. And then people get tired of even hearing it, and you'll just lose because you don't have the ability to fight. And that's the concerning part. And not only that, and I'm giving a shout out to the city of Montgomery, because today when I saw the Montgomery Advertiser, it was all about the Montgomery Brawl, how it brought on a movement, how it brought on a sense of love and unity amongst our community. Also, it detailed what this particular attorney is doing. It mentioned it was an article about the chair and how it's been used in their voter registration, but it was a side article on the side of that, but you had to see the real paper because I didn't see it online, that said everything about what Chase Shipman and Mr. Todd's attorney is doing. They rejected the plea from Montgomery. Now they're trying to get the judge recused. I do have her name, but I don't want to disconnect to find it. But they're trying to get the judge recused off this case. That's the plot of the justice system, to ruin the black man, even if we're innocent. And it's going back to Jim Crow. Even with evidence of video, this lawyer has the audacity to blame this crime on the co-captain. There's other issues going on too with the owner of the Marriott, and I know people love her because she's been doing a great thing, but there's something about a gag order that's being in place that Mr. Damien, some kind of way, did not agree to.
Yeah, well, that
no one else
was
is
removed.
being
That was
really
removed.
targeted.
Right. Let me say this. You know, me and Miss Producer went to an individual. You want to release his name?
Oh, you talking about Bobcat, man?
Yeah.
Man, Tomcat, man, you know.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, man, I know you talked to him, I think the day after it happened, that Monday morning or whatnot. And we was trying to jump. We dissected the tape over the weekend. We looked at it. We tried to get any information we could about it. And then you reached out to the brother because you knew him.
Right.
And he gave you some more in depth of what was going on. So you asked for an interview.
Right.
You was like, man, let me interview these guys and let me get the real raw story. And then when the other news conglomerates come around, you know what I'm saying, we got it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, you know, grassroots, podcast, we got the interview and we can boom. We can, we can sell it and try to, get some protection for these guys, because you was trying to show that it was a hate crime or whatever.
Right.
But
Exactly.
but he did his own thing.
So what Mr. Producer's talking about, Kamisha, is that I went to Bobcat and I actually saw him and we conversated and we were talking like every day. Like he was getting calls from the guy Ryan, I forgot his name, it was CNN. So I was calling, different people was calling. All along, he had an agenda. So, and I told him, I said, well, if it's a thing about the money, then everybody can get paid. If that's the direction you want to go in, let me get the interview, and then I'm going to some people that we're connected to out in LA. We're going to go to TMZ. Everybody get money. Well, he didn't want to do that because he had an agenda. And in the process of all of these things here that you see unfolding right now, Kamisha, it is based off of what he did, Bobcat did, and it's also based off of the fact of them going to New York. And all they were waiting for, all shipment them were waiting for. Because you got to realize, everything that they do is strategic. We do shit off of emotions. We don't do things because we carefully think it out. We do shit because it's emotion, off of emotion. How do I know this? After the fact of all of that, they started going to Living Baptist Church. They started going here. They started going there. They doing church. They doing different events and all. That's neither here or there. And all of these people that they've gone to, Kamisha, at the end of the day, they're not going to step up and they're not going to provide not one source to help this guy. I'm not even in the city anymore. My whole thing was, when Mr. Producer brought the shit to me, I was like, hey man, look here, let's get on top of this thing. Matter of fact, he suggested. Okay? And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this because it needs to be said. Everybody that's in the city of Montgomery that claims to be leaders, they ain't leaders. Okay? They're running around here. They're in their feelings like women because things didn't go the way that they wanted them to go. Okay? And like you said, Kamisha, this thing is deep because you have people who are tied to the Klan who now all of a sudden, because the city of Montgomery didn't charge them, they're trying to get somebody who was at work, and it was a simple fix. All they had to do was move the goddamn boat. That was it. Move your boat. None of this shit would have happened. But they didn't do it. They didn't move the boat. And because they didn't do it, and they came up for the Trump rally, they high off of that. They're inebriated off of that bullshit. Excuse my superfluitive language. But they're high off of that. They drunk off of that. Then it becomes a thing where they use it. They hate crime. Now it becomes federal. So now they didn't charge, the city didn't charge them. They said, well, wait a minute. Let's prove that Damien, and this is what they want to do. They want to set their case off. And I'm going to give you back the floor. They want to set their case off. Say, okay, well, they use racial epithets, so guess what happens? Damon and them are charged with a hate crime. See what I'm saying? This is the debacle that we're dealing with. But you have the floor.
I'm glad you mentioned that part, because the city of Montgomery did not say hate crime or no hate crime. They were smart enough to let the feds deal with that question. And once the feds said no, that means on any person. It means on any person involved.
Wait, hold on. That's not true. That's not true, Kamisha. No, listen. This is what I'm saying. If the feds, if the city of Montgomery, if the police chief and whomever it was did the investigation, if they had said that it was a hate crime, then it goes over to the federal government. The feds were.
Well, that's why it went over, because it went over because they initially thought it could qualify. That's how it goes. That's the process. Now, that's just the process. Once certain things happen and it's racially motivated, which it was all over the world, because that's what the world was saying, it was a hate crime, right? So the police investigated as such, and once it gets to that level, it's really out of the local police jurisdiction, because that's a federal crime. So once the feds brought it back and put it back in Montgomery's hands, that cleared anyone. But what Mr. Chase Shipman and Mr. Todd is doing is trying to clear their name of just overt racism anyway. Because like you said, it's been rumored that they were coming to this port, which is federally mandated. Now remember, the Harriet is a form of commerce for the city of Montgomery. So that dock is specifically designed, as your chief of police said, for the Marriott, not for public use, not for personal use, but strictly for the design of those passenger ships that are there for tourism. So when the shipments decided to violate that rule of that dock, they violated other laws,
Come on
right?
now.
So they need to be dealt with on that. And also Montgomery needs to figure out, or the Harriet or whoever uses that dock, a better form of security in that case. Because there's a lot of things that went wrong at that moment. Okay, but yet once the government said it wasn't a hate crime, but what they're using is the tactics of power and the tactics of legal teams that will never stop. See, a legal firm is not is only as good as the money that's backing it. That's why a lot of black firms can't do pro bono work because they can't afford to do the research. They can't afford it. But when you have firms that got backing and got a bank flowing to their cause, they can do that. But let's take it back to something more simpler. The river. Let's go back to Benin, Africa. Let's go back to the people who brought us here in this country in the first place. They ran that water. So you mean to tell me that since we got a black mayor, Trump was in town, the Harriet is known for black patronage. Okay, even the pedal boat is primarily known for black patronage. So now that gives, most of us don't own boats. We don't have access to water leisure. And the owner of the Harriet allowed that. So when you got the chase shipments of the world that decide that I'm just gonna pull up at this dock because I want to, that's a problem. Because they're stating their claim on that river. And we have to address that. So Montgomery should also do something about ticketing them on that. Forget the crime of the fight, but just the misuse of that dock has never been addressed. And that
Come on
wouldn't
now.
happen if it was a Navy ship. It wouldn't have happened if it was a Carnival ship. So why would they disrespect the lady of the Marriott? Why?
White privilege.
Because we're in Alabama. And they can do that because she too know who these powerful white men are. And she too know that these powerful white men are linked up with major airport authorities and chamber of commerces and banks and oil companies and concrete companies and demolition companies and legacy money. So she can't fight that and still stay afloat. So just like your show stated, the shipments is sinking. However you stated it, their case is sinking. And they're going to take somebody down with them because they don't
Well,
want to be known again as overt racist, even though their behavior showed nothing but that, right? So we have to look internally about what was their position when they decided to block that dock. And if the federal government doesn't want to deal with it as a hate crime, Montgomery should deal with that in a way that protects the people of the Marriott and their job, so they won't
well,
come into these encounters again. Because one thing about overt racists, they will challenge and buck the system at every cost. Now, if it was us, we probably got tased. If it was me on my platoon, ride with my little cousins in, we may not have made it that far. Because once we had rejected, they'd have been called the man on us. So we have to understand the difference of who they are. And like somebody said earlier, in the beginning, no one got arrested, white or black. Why? Because we knew it was some white folks that own boats. So we don't know who their parents are, what money they come from. So I just think they had to assess it. And once they assessed it and it got on a national scale, they had to deal with it. But I do think Montgomery Municipal did its due just for the people of the Marriott. And that's why Chase Shipman's attorney is pulling out the big guns. and trying to get lawyers pulled off. I mean, judges pulled off cases. They're not playing anymore because Stephen Reed did what he had to do to protect the business of Montgomery.
Most definitely.
But it still ruffled some white leaders' feathers. And that
Well,
lawyer's not going to stop until he gets their names cleared. So what we have to do is position, I'm not sure because Damien hasn't said anything, but as citizens that want to help this cause, making money isn't the issue at this point. It's making sure he's legally sound and that he's going to have representation.
Yeah.
Bobcat did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta have that GoFundMe should go to some legal aid.
Well, what I'm saying, hold on, Kamisha, listen. Okay, so Mr. Producer called him Bobcat. Where's the money that he got from the GoFundMe? Where's that money at? So they got money. That's what I'm saying. There was money generated from this situation. And what I'm saying is, it's a sad day when you got Lee Merritt, Benjamin Crump, everybody outside of Montgomery who seems to show some form of concern, and you got people that's within Montgomery not showing any concern. And then this is the thing. What I'm saying is, I understand that Stephen Reed wanted to protect the integrity of the Harriet and the whole thing. Like, he's the first black mayor there, and he didn't need, any type of things to get out of hand. But this is the thing, Commissioner, excuse me. The thing is, he had no control over what happened. Okay? And once again, this was not the first time that these individuals did this. Now, you're from Selma. You do activism work out of Selma. What I'm telling you is, from my understanding, there were people from Montgomery. What's the girl name? Went down there, Mr. Producer?
Karen Jones.
Karen Jones went down there. Then there's another lady, I used to talk to her son a lot, Rose Sanders, who's from there. They went out and they brought recognition to the store, and they asked black people and other sensible thinking folks to boycott that store. Okay, now I don't know if the boycott is still on.
Well,
what's
I think
going
that
on?
Was across,
I'm
I
sorry.
think the entire city at that point were trying to boycott the store. Rose just did a physical boycott every day to bring awareness to it. So that
Okay.
but I think for the most part, people were not going back.
So what I'm saying is this is the thing. This is what I'm saying. There for that business, it's an embarrassment. But what I'm saying, I go back to what I want you to do, Kamisha, is you provided me some very important information Friday. I would like for you to bring that information back out, and basically the information that you were telling me, that you and I was talking about, the history of all of this stuff. If you can bring that out for the listening audience, it would be greatly appreciated, because you can sit here all day and you say, okay, well, these people got here, they got this. You and I talked about their interconnection to that very river. So I want the people, because this is going internationally, I want everybody to hear and see what's going on and the information you provide us this past Friday. So can you go into that, please?
Well, and specifically the Vassar name. The Vassar name. I'm gonna go into that because that has an implication. My family's originally from Otago County, not Dallas County. And the Vassar name holds some bad history in Otago County when it comes to a young black man whose life was taken in the early 60s. And it was alleged that it was this family that did this thing to this young black man from Otago County, Otagoville. And some of the people that was in school with him are still living, and they tell the story. And one of our relatives um, is very connected to it. One of my relatives. So it's something that is discussed all the time. Not all the time, but it comes up when you talk about civil rights and how Tocqueville and Selma did different things when it came to the movement, based on their position and location, because it really mattered. Location is everything. And so the Vassar family, which is Chase Shipman, who's owning the new Vassar location, which he inherited or got from his mom after his dad passed. So that's the history of the type of mentality of the people that was on that boat that day, and just how they reacted for their boat being moved. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the lack of appreciation for authority. Here it is. You know I came off the boat. You see that I'm at work. But your result, because I moved your boat, because if a cop would have had your car towed, or if the Coast Guard would have towed it, would he have reacted that way?
Right.
You understand? So he had the same authority to ask for that boat to get moved. And my question is, once again, a co-captain does nothing. Me and my Navy, I was in the Navy. Shout out to all the veterans out there. Um, a co-captain's not going to move unless the captain says so. So where's the captain who ordered these people to move this boat? Because
Right.
at one point I took for 40 minutes. It was hot. It was hot that weekend. I remember that weekend like it was yesterday. It was very, very hot. So imagine being stuck on the boat an extra 30 to 40 minutes and getting called racial slurs in between. And I understand there was a whole other group of people that on that platoon that was already up on the pier drinking and having a good time. And it was just this group that got caught in the fight. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Montgomery that day that has not yet been told. So the question is, even though we had an emotional response, it was like a kumbaya moment across the nation for black people. Even with the chair attack, even women that know we don't want a man putting their hands on a woman, but that chair pop across the head just did something for the black America, just did something for us. And I don't know if it was our 40 acres and a mule in a little hypothetical sense, I don't know. But just like the Montgomery Advertiser posted today, it brought unity to a people. And it gave us kind of hope. Or, I don't know, it was sick hope, because it's kind of like, I wouldn't want nobody hit my mom beside the head with a chair like that. But
Right.
we felt the brother, right? But now that we got to get out, we have to stop being so emotionally connected to things, right? And start getting connected logically. Because all those things, just like with Unc, we call him Unc. We knew he was going to go to jail for hitting the lady with the chair, right?
Right.
We knew that. But did we prepare for that for him, right? Because we celebrated it. But now he got to deal with those court dates by himself. See, we celebrate things just like funerals. But if the day after the funeral, who's going to be with the family? Right? You kind of back to yourself, right? So
That's
we have
true.
to stop getting emotionally connected to things and start standing firm logically. Because one thing was going back to Trayvon Martin with Zimmerman. That community raised so much money for Zimmerman for
Yeah.
taking a child's life. But it showed unity within them in their structure. Just like the overthrow of Washington, the Capitol. We could never as a people. And going back, okay, let's going back to Benin and the transference to Africa, to the diaspora. It was black on black crime that put us here. So it's at some point we got to stop all of those things. Like you said, we were punished. Our land was stolen. We talked about some things earlier. But now we're back in our rightful place. And but are we going to make the right decision? Are we still going to be on an emotional level of understanding and fighting and power? Because I'm not going to ever be on a boycott line, because I don't think that's where my power lies, right? And we have to see there's other tables that we need to sit at to ensure that people respect our power. And what we did was we put them out there on this kumbaya moment, lift them up as kings of the moment. But now that they're in legal issues, where are our leaders? And we don't need outside people. We got enough legal activists trained here in the state of Alabama. So we don't need anyone from outside to come handle this. We don't. And those attorneys that usually come out, they come out for death. But this is systemic. These are systemic issues. Rose Sanders is right now is facing $1 million lawsuit, maybe more, over the city had to give the daughters of the Klan some land in the cemetery over some bad paperwork. And
Wow.
I told them that they could not restrict that document, but they did. And now they own a piece of city property. They keep putting Confederate flags. And now Rose is being harassed, in my opinion, but it's legal, by these same people because they got enough money and enough. All they got to do is sit down and say this black activist, Black Panther woman, quote unquote, all these not denominate names, and they're going to send $10. Their children are going to send $20. They're going to send that fund to make sure they keep fighting Rose Sanders. Rose Sanders is going to get depleted.
So you know,
so imagine Damon. He can't afford it. So we have to put up logical defenses for our community, not just emotional ones. Candle vigils is not going to pay a legal fee.
Come on now.
You know, Kamisha, let me say this. Let's two things I want to say about that, right? Let's say Rose Sanders. Now, it's obvious. This is what we mean when we talk about white privilege. I got a friend of mine that I've associate of mine I do work for. He wanted to tell me that, you know, white privilege don't exist. I told him, you a goddamn lie. It does. You understand? There's a two-tier system. You know, we're seeing it now with this thing with Damien. Here it is. These people were the provocateurs. They were the instigators. How do you go from being those things, and because you don't get a certain charge, all of a sudden now the people that was the guy was doing his job had to defend himself. Now he's the aggressor. You know, this shit happens all of the time. This is the problem. The thing with Rose Sanders, this is what I'm saying. They use the system emphatically, so eloquently against us. And what we do, we sit back on the sideline because there's been a slavery mentality that's inbred into us. And say, well, you know what? It ain't none of me, so I'm not going to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that you and I was talking about earlier. This person here contact Mr. Producer on a regular basis. But he's so caught up in his goddamn feelings over that his candidate didn't win mayor that he's on the BS. So this is what I'm saying. This is why I say that black people within the confines of the city of Montgomery, they don't have leadership. It's poor leadership there. And what I'm saying, even from the aspect of what we saw transpire with Damien, those things were handled inappropriately. And the reason I'm saying is oh, well, the city don't need this. The city don't need that. Okay, well, guess what? By the city not doing what the city was supposed to do, now this guy here is setting off his goddamn court dates. And he not only setting his court dates off, he's actually trying to go here. Now he's the victim. The victimizer becomes
the city.
The victimizer becomes the victim. This is asinine, people. And the same thing is going on with Rose. How is it, Kamisha? Explain to me, how is it that we have to deal with all of these, we have to channel all of these things, but when when we need the system is not there for it. The same thing that we saw happen out there with the kid in Colorado. When in Colorado, the kid that was going home, walking home, and the police stopped him. They say he was a black kid. I don't have his name. Get his name for me. He was going home. Police stopped him, choked him out. After they realized the kid had stopped breathing, They shot him up with some, I forgot what it is, and took the kid life. So the cop that did all of this stuff, his mom, the prosecutors take the shit to court. Guess what happened? The cop that killed him, he's sitting at home with his family. So that's what I'm saying, how the system fails us. So you're absolutely right about what you're saying about the thing with Damien, but that's why I came out, well, Mr. Producer brought it to me, and I said, well, you know what? Let's put this thing out here, because I do have enough people following me, watching our content to make a difference. But go ahead. You got something you want to say, Mr. Producer? Go ahead, Kamisha. I'm sorry.
I just want to. I gotta not blame the city of Montgomery, because once the feds got involved, they only could do what they were allowed to do based on the law.
But so they're not involved. That's the point. They're not involved. They're not involved.
Well, it's not at this point.
Kamisha, if they were involved, if they were thoroughly involved, then guess what? This shit wouldn't be. They came at me, and I didn't do a goddamn. They tore my house up and did all this stuff to me. I didn't do anything. But they came at me because they didn't like what I was talking about. That's what mine was about. That's what they did to me. And they do this kind of stuff to us. But then, like I say, you have provocateurs on the other side of the fence, and they know this stuff is going on, and they don't say a goddamn thing about it. Those guys that came out of Selma, they came up here. Trump was here that Friday. Okay? He was here that Friday. He was gassed up off of that. And you've laid out perfectly about what type of people that they are. That what we're dealing with not what Damien is dealing with. And they want to use this effectively. So what needs to happen at this point is the city officials that they need to go in, because I understand a lot of things were violated. There were a lot of violations that the city could have brought up, that they could have charged them with, that they did do. So now since they're trying to, let me give you the floor. Since they're trying to charge somebody that works for their system, they need to protect it. The city of Montgomery needs to do that, and that's Stephen Reed's job. And the police chief, they need to step up and protect that guy. Go ahead, you have the floor.
I'm gonna send you the article that I read today, because this is really about the attorney. I'm sending it to you now. So this is really the attorney using his through the court system to try to ruin these people. It's beyond the city at this point. It's really beyond the city.
Well, guess
right?
what though, Kamisha?
That's what I'm saying. We get so emotionally charged on the emotion, we didn't prepare for the future.
Well, guess
so
what?
we, as black people, we need to start thinking of legal defense funds for our community.
You know what?
Because it's things like this that you can't foresee. This man's attacking judges. They're not just attacking them. They left the mayor alone. They know they can't do anything else with this charge, right? So now they're attacking judges to get to Mr. Damon, to get to the Marriott employees. So it's the judicial system that we never have able to win in, really.
So hold on, right? Two things. This two things I want to say. Where are they supposed to bring the charge then? The city, so are they trying to charge him in Montgomery County? Because that's
they're not charging him at all.
So what?
These are not charges coming from anyone. These are all They basically, Mr. Damon is being subpoenaed to attend the trial of Mr. Shipman and Mr. Todd.
Okay.
Because they did not agree with the plea. They don't want to agree to being racist. They're not going to agree to being racist. They're going to go down in this fight.
Well, you know what? You going right? You going with Mr. Producer?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to make that. I'm going to make that court date. I don't know what I got. I don't know where I'll be at, but I'm going to make it my business to be there. And let me say this.
And read that article I just sent to you, because it breaks down what they're fighting for.
hold on. Let me say this because my mind, I got that COVID shot, and I don't remember shit like I used to. But listen to me. Let me say this. Attorneys have. Why am I echoing? Attorneys have what is called tort. Okay. They have what is called tort. And if an attorney goes out there and if he misrepresents the fact or he harm you in any type of shape, form, or fashion, you have a right to get his tort. This is what a lot of people don't know. I know. Okay? I learned their system when they put me in their system. So I know. You understand? So all of these things that maybe what they're hoping for or what they're thinking it's going to be, you got people on the sidelines watching with much enthusiasm to make sure that this shit goes right the way it's supposed to go. And they can sit there and subpoena him and say, well, Damien did this, Damien did that, But what I'm saying, it was a simple remedy to all of that, okay? Which was to move their boat out of the way. That was number one. Move the boat out of the way. And the problem that occurred would have not occurred. And all of this other stuff where they want to subpoena him, listen, man, you guys use racial epithets. There are people, I talked to people that validated this. Bobcat validated this. Okay? Like, these people use racial epithets. So the fact of the matter is they can come off how they want to come off. They want to come off as racist. Your system is racist. For the fact of you going to try to get this man to overturn something when the world watched the video and saw what you did, that's racist. And this is the thing. You're not that goddamn smart. They want to think they're smart, intelligent, but you ain't smart and you ain't intelligent. Okay? The cameras don't lie. That's number one. And for you to go out here and to think that we didn't see what we saw and the people around there didn't hear what they heard. No, I mean, you're telling us that was stupid. And what I'm saying, you've laid out perfectly, Kamisha, about what this really is. And then, like I said, it was strategic how they did it because they did not go to the locals. They went to CNN. So you know what? I'm going to say this. The boycott needs to continue against their business. Them stores.
And I'm glad you said that. Because where I'm at with this is the position, the only position I think that the city of Montgomery failed the Marriott was not ticketing the boat owner. They should have had a healthy fine for blocking the dock of the Marriott. And until that fine has been enforced, did they break the law? Did they not? But if I would have parked my car in the mayor's VIP spot, I guarantee they would have told me.
No question.
So that's
exactly.
So they need to ticket, and if they haven't, they may have. But going in the city of Selma, when it comes to Vassar's and Cougar Oil companies, because Vassar's is owned by another company. They just sell the food. But the oil is a family business. And there's the Joneses, Cougar Oil Company. And our county commission, our sheriff department, our police department, and our city officials all contract with gas with these companies. So even if the little people like me never buy gas, they are funded by our tax dollars and have been for decades. So it's systemic. So their money is longer than our little boycott. That's why I don't see that as being relevant until we really, when I go to the commission, they be like, oh, Sunshine, wait a minute, Sunshine, right? Oh, if I go to the mayor and say, well, y'all buying, the mayor just laugh at me because he know it's true, but the council makes that vote, right? If we
Right.
take that vote and give it to another, we might have to give a contract to the Arabs for some gas. Give them some gas money for a year or two. But if we've been giving it to the same company, is that fair? That's legacy money. That's generational wealth. So until those are the things our government needs to do as a black-led government. If we're going to say boycott, let's boycott them where it hurts. Take away that whole county and city contract. Montgomery, ticket and put out hefty fines for any boat from then that day on that decides they want to take away the commerce from the Marriott, because the Marriott applied for that.
Right.
That wasn't free. So so Montgomery needs to either, if they haven't, I'm not going to say, because I think Steve Marie's been doing a great job. I think what he did, I think the fact that Montgomery Advertiser came out with that article on the front page of the paper today, stood 10 toes down, said, Montgomery, we still are with you, Marriott. So I like that. I felt warm inside when I saw that article. Because I know they're not going to leave him hanging. But what scared me was that's where it made me realize it was their attorney. Because CNN didn't do any due diligence to see if Mr. Damon even had an attorney. But Mr. Damon doesn't have to speak at court. He can plead the fifth.
Right.
Remember, we black people, we do not have to speak.
Well, I've tried to call him the last 2 days, and unfortunately, I have not been able to get him.
Someone probably told him to be quiet.
Yeah, well, hell, he can talk to me. I'm not gonna give him any bad advice. If anything, I'm gonna tell him what he needs to know to help him. You know what I mean?
Well, if he's talking to a lawyer gonna tell him not to talk to anyone.
That's a big if. Shit. You know.
And I spoke to a prominent attorney here. Was that Friday evening? And I asked him, was there any reason why any attorney? He said no. But maybe a lot of people didn't even realize that this was coming about, that they're targeting him in this case. And maybe in the future, now that this is being mentioned and in the forefront, you doing a show, so we brought it to a Friday. Montgomery Advertiser printed it this weekend. Maybe some attorney in the background is saying, wow, we didn't know that they were coming after him. I know Rose started back protesting. She had to take a break from protesting at that physically.
Yeah, that's what we're going
to do. But
she
started back, and I didn't know why until I read your post. So hopefully what you did here has helped him tremendously from my viewpoint, because awareness is everything.
Right.
But right now, he needs hardcore social justice, civil rights activist attorneys in his life, right? And I'm going to court on my behalf, and they've tried to throw me in jail for contempt of court for impersonating an attorney just because I know the law so well. So I know it's not our communication is not going to help him. The only one that can take that tort from the other attorney to argue for Mr. Damon is an attorney. So until we find him that help, what we're doing is hopefully encouraging someone to give him that free legal help, right?
So you would think that it being national like this, that Benjamin Crump or one of them other guys will just donate their time just to make sure the brother, you know what I'm saying? They see this shit happening. We got to call on them. You know, we called Dr. King to come to Alabama.
Well, let me say this.
We called on him.
Kamisha, let me say this. All right, I got a friend of mine out of New York, Hawk Newsom. Y'all can look him up. The brother is on a lot of things. The situation happened out there in Colorado where the black man bought all that property out there, over 1,000 acres of land. They were killing his animals, and they went out there. You know, these guys are, you know, they will come in to a city and support. What you're saying is so profound, because it basically turns out to that the people down in Montgomery should support attorneys, whomever it is. There's civil rights attorneys, and I ain't talking about the old ones, the ones that's not doing a whole lot of stuff. I'm talking about some of the young ones should get involved with this. You have what's the guy name? Mr. Producer say Benjamin Crump. Well, Benjamin Crump, I mean, he gets in a lot of cases, but primarily he's doing a lot of stuff. We practice out of Florida, but this is what I'm saying. You got the SPLC there in Montgomery, Alabama, correct? Southern Poverty Law Center. They're around here. Why they haven't gotten involved with this situation? Why haven't they put their people on there? You know what I'm saying? So there are many different elements to this situation here that we know. We see what Shipman is doing. It's obvious what they did. You can't run from that. And nothing by you going out here to okay, well we're gonna change the dynamics in the court now. You can't do that. You said it earlier, Kamisha, excuse me. The world watched the video. I posted the video. The video got 250,000 views on my page. I could pull it up. It got over 10,000 shares. That was just my page. We're not talking about other people's pages. Okay? I have a healthy following on Twitter. I posted stuff over there. It got a few thousand. So what I'm saying is, it was major if these guys went to New York and they were interviewed. What's the lady name on there? Interviewed them, Mr. Producer?
Gail.
Gail. So what I'm saying is that's Oprah's partner. You understand? She interviewed him. So they can't get around. No, well, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. Yeah, you did it. Accept it. Deal with it. And that's the thing. The whole thing is, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give it back to you. They look down on Damien and everybody else. That's what that was all about. They didn't see him as a human being. They saw him as something other than how they've been raised up as young men growing up in the world. That's what that was. Go ahead.
But they're being, I would say the word petty, as we call it in the community. The attorney is just petty. He's nitpicking. He's trying. That's what attorneys do. And that's my point. Good attorneys always find a way to make sure their client wins, right? And he's doing his job, right? So now we have to, and I think this is going to do it. I really do believe what you did this weekend and bringing awareness to it, because it happened on a Friday, on the holiday. People weren't even aware of it. When I mentioned it to a local attorney, Brandon Wooten here in Selma, he didn't even know the man was being called to court on it. So maybe people just didn't know because how it happened, that they did it on the holiday weekend. He beat all the other news channels, went straight to CNN. He's being deceptive, just like some of that type of people have been, right? And the Legal Defense Fund is primarily I don't even want to. Southern Poverty Law Center, they fight against white supremacy. They do. But they also fight against some black activists as well. So we got to be careful sometimes in using those things when we just have real black leaders. You know what I'm saying? We got, like, Stephen Reed can't do anything, but Alabama Democratic Conference can, as a political stance against white influence in the community and how their power has taken over, and we have to learn how to take our power and understand our constitutional rights, because these are really constitutional rights issues that they're going to be facing. That attorney, he's attacking the attorney, so it has nothing to do with him being a racist. They're just trying to do everything in their power to get this case thrown out, so that in history, if a case thrown out, you're basically not guilty, right?
Right.
So that's all they're trying to do. They know what they did. So now we have to be the strategic, and hopefully the judicial system and say, no, we're not going to take this judge off this case. No. We're going to let her sit and do her due diligence, and she's mature enough, and she has enough professionalism to do this case without prejudice, because she's going to use the rule of law, because that's what they say when their cousins come in their court, right?
Right.
So we have to be able to stand firm and not allow someone to tell us that we can't act professionally in a court system in which we were elected to stand in. Because that's a part of the mind. That's a mind game he's playing. So now you got Dana scared, but Dana ain't even the victim. He's not the true target. The target is the people who put them in this position, which was the Montgomery judicial system. So if he can get it out of their hands, right? Imagine if they get that case taken to Dallas County, which they shouldn't. But just imagine. Okay, imagine they get it taken to Tocqueville County. Watauga County, that's predominantly their people. So depending on the jurisdiction that they move it, they can win. So we have to stand strong.
I don't think that's
and
gonna
make
happen.
sure Damien, if he don't want to talk, he ain't got to talk.
I don't, you know,
So he
I
have
don't, you
two
know,
legal counsel.
I don't see that happening. Matter of fact, you know, what was the guy that was the sheriff officer down there in Lowndes County that got killed?
Big John.
Big John. I don't even
Rest
think
in
that
peace.
case has come up, has it? With a man,
You
the
see
guy.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. So, Alabama, man.
Yeah, you can charge people all you want, but do we have enough money to fight some of these long, generationally wealthy people that can hire lawyers on top of lawyers on top of lawyers on top of lawyers? And we may have a good cause. We may have the best cause in the earth, but if the legal team that we have can't afford it, we can drain them.
Well, and so that's why, like Mr. Producer was saying, people outside of Montgomery has to get involved with it. Well, what we're gonna do is this, Kamisha. We're going to bring you back. I will talk with you off of the air, find out when these court dates are. I will let people outside of your area know. People in my area, I'll let them know. I will reach out to people in New York, L.A., as well as Lee Merritt and a few more other people that's worthy to fight this thing, and we'll go from there.
Well, thank you for having me, and I really enjoyed the conversation with you guys, you and the producer. I'm glad you brought it to the forefront, because I probably went this whole weekend celebrating Veterans Day without even thinking about someone else's injustice.
Right.
And that's it. Justice is injustice, and we face most of it all the time, and we just have to start thinking differently, and we have to start putting our money where our mouth is. So just like they go out there and tell Zimmerman, send $1 for Zimmerman, have your kids send us a penny. Well, we should get a legal defense fund for our own communities and have some of our civil rights attorneys come together as a collective and run it. And that way they know that they have something that they can come together and say, yeah, we need to get behind this. Because what's going to happen is our kids, people keep telling us we're going to go back into the days of Jim Crow. They're taking us there.
Well, you know what,
Slowly,
Kamisha?
but surely.
Well, first of all, we have never left out of the days of Jim Crow. Matter of fact, I'm just going to say this, right? I just made right when you got ready to come on, we were talking, I was getting ready to talk about this guy, Jimbo Fisher, right? This guy, Texas A&M owes him, was it $78 million? $78 million. They fired him. But they owe him $78 million that was left on his contract that he didn't receive. Now guess what? That money that Jimbo Fisher is owed, that was done. That money was made off of the backs of our kids. And they are fighting against these kids being able to receive NIL deals, to be able to receive money off of their likeliness. But you can go out here and pay a man $100 million, and all he's doing is he's going to go sit in Kamisha's living room and convince Kamisha's son to come to Waterloo Warriors school and play sports. And because he's got your kid there, and your kid is the top recruit in the country, your kid ain't getting shit. Or now he can. But even they're trying to reverse that. But the fact of the matter is that this is what I'm talking about, system. So even in the NCAA, Jim Crow still exists. We never got away from Jim Crow, Kamisha. It's just clandestine. It's not overt. It's covert. It's not overt anymore. Some of us see it and deal with it and see it for what it truly is. Most of us don't. But I'm going to give you the last word.
Well, I'm glad you said what you said. It's overt, and we need to start opening up our eyes. And some people are already enlightened, right? And we can't hold people accountable for not being that way yet. But if we keep having these conversations, in time, things will start. That light bulb will pop up in their head too, and say, "I see, I understand, I get it." And if we can just do that in our community on a consistent basis, we'll get to where we want to be. Because remember, we're years behind.
Right.
We're 400 years behind on this
Right.
enlightenment path about how we're being treated. And we just have to face those things head on and be more logical. I just want us to start thinking on a logical approach. And emotions are great because I'm an emotional person. But I have to always step out of that when it comes to business and say, well, what's the most logical thing to do? Or what's the most logical approach? And sometimes it is legal representation.
Right.
So we can't be afraid. And that's how we win. You know what I mean? When you got money, when you see, just think about in the hood. You see some of these young brothers, or say Scarface, for instance. You got good lawyers, you don't do a lot of time, right?
Right.
The Shipmans got good lawyers. And we as black people need to stop sending our kids in these institutions without good lawyers. And if it takes a little bit, if you know your son's innocent, if you know your son didn't do anything, take that extra bread and save his life. I want to say, because we have to start putting forth a backing to support our people, because we can't keep calling on Crump. They're going to be depleted. We have to start making these things available. Just like we got life insurance, we need to start thinking about legal backing for things. And if we have to come to the community and say, we're going to get little Ray Ray out of jail because that cop did little Ray Ray wrong, we have to do that. If it's a penny from each church give a donation, we have to start back doing that in our community. The Emmett Tills of the world, we still have those things happening. We still have lynchings happening, just in different ways. Now they're lynching people saying it was suicide in our community.
Right, that's true. You sure
We
right
have to
about that.
fight. We got to fight. And these are the little things, little nuances that if we let slip and allow Mr. Damon to get thrown in this and get pulled in the realms of darkness of justice, and it wasn't even his fault, he was at his job, we're failing him. Because we got emotional, but we ain't throw no back to him. So unless we gonna throw some back into him, I don't want you to fall out and get happy on church with me. I want you to take it another step further and put your feet on the ground and walk with me.
Right.
And we're gonna walk with Damon if he allows it. And maybe he already got somebody in his corner because he's been really quiet. And that gives me hope. His quietness gives me hope. So we're just gonna keep praying for the brother and everyone else that was on the marriage that day, and even the owner. Because imagine what she's going through. That's just like Viola Louiso, who came to Selma in the 60s. And they got mad because she helped us. So she's going through some things too. So we got to pray for her too. Because all white people aren't bad and all black people ain't good. But we know that they're struggling in the realms of racism and internal oppression. We have to help.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. Well, Kamisha, it's been fun. I'm going to let you go. We will pick back up on the subject matter. I will call you off the air. We will find out the court dates, and we will come down to Montgomery. I appreciate you.
Awesome.
God bless. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right.
You be
I
safe
enjoyed
out
you
there.
guys, and you guys have a great night.
You too, love.
All right, you too.
All right, so people,
All right,
we're
producer.
going to wrap it up. Mr. Producer, you have anything you want to say?
Nah, man, y'all tore that up, man. I learned so much tonight.
Well, like I said, the essence of a lot of things don't change. It's just that we don't see it now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's still out there. What's sad is, like I said, in the spite of whatever side you're on, at the end of the day, you still this. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
And the fact is, you have to come together when it's due time to come together. So, anyway, people, it's been fun. We'll be back here Wednesday with single black mothers. Will you be one? That being said, as always, the Moving Finger Rights has written, moves on. To all of you, good day.